I often play with my photo references that I get back after a trip because I do paint outside a lot and I can correct a lot of things on my own as I paint. But in between paintings, it's a good idea, at least for me, I do this to go through my photo references and see, did I miss anything? Can I improve a sort of average looking photograph that might have a good composition and just to put a little bit more excitement into it. So I want to show all of you what I usually do when I come across a photo that I kind of like, but I think I can maybe punch it up a little bit more and have more of an impact, visual impact to it. So what I do is I'm gonna take the highlights and I'm gonna punch up the highlight a little bit, and you'll see everything here as it goes. I can take it down like this, and I can take it up. So I'm gonna take up the highlight. I'm gonna take my darks down, darker. See what's happening all of a sudden? There's this impact that's happening in the painting, in the photograph, I should say. So if I look at side by side the photographs, look at the dramatic difference that happened. I mean, to me on the right, it's definitely a lot more exciting, would be an exciting painting than the one on the left. The one on the left, the values tend to be very similar from foreground to background. Here, on the right here, there's more of a contrast difference between these rows of trees in the lower half and then the cooler trees in the back. So it definitely makes makes more of an impact. And I can even play more with this, and I can see what happens here. All of a sudden my values become the same, and to me I'm losing my focal point, which is the mountain in the background. So I want to keep that and bring my shadows even darker if I wanted to. So I can play with this foreground. Look at the foreground of the tree as it's changing, just the trees and the shadows. So that's what some of these softwares can kind of help you with. It's not a magic bullet, it's not a magic formula, but it can really help you in designing paintings for possibly value and color impact. This is another good example. I like to image, I like the design for the most part, but it doesn't have as much difference between the value difference between this foreground tree and this background tree. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to start having a little more contrast in this painting. I'm going to take the darks a little bit down like this. All of a sudden the foreground kind of comes alive, and I can mess with the light just a little bit, bring it up, and let's look at the difference between the two images. I mean, to me, again, the one on the right has a little bit more impact because there's a difference between my darks and lights. There's a value difference here. They kind of melt together, and also temperature difference in the foreground. So, try some of these. This is actually Lightroom. I'm using Lightroom. That's the tool that I'm using, the program. Photoshop will do the same thing. Just try to mess around with your value differences. Use these tools to your advantage, and just look at the possibilities that can happen from sort of an average photograph to something that has more of an impact.